So in the last video, we checked out how the InMotion P6 behaves on the track, and spoilers, yes, it's extremely fast. I mean, come on, check the video out if you haven't seen it already. But today, we will take it into a more natural situation. We'll tackle some stairs on it, we'll ride it on a mountain road, and we'll see how it rides on bike paths and in those sort of more natural situations like most of the riders of the InMotion P6 will encounter. So, let me tell you more about it. And first up, huge thanks to InMotion for sponsoring a portion of this video. And if you want to buy a wheel like this in Europe, feel free to check out my link tree. There's links to stores that I recommend, both in Europe and across the pond in the US of A. Huge thanks for helping me record this video and getting into various locations, and exploring China was amazing. I'm super grateful for the whole trip. Check out my playlist if you haven't seen more videos about my China trip. But with that said, yeah, let's get started. So we are with the InMotion team here in the mountains, checking out the P6, sort of outside of a racetrack, but still in quite optimal conditions when it comes to just, riding a wheel. No sudden stops, nothing popping out of the mountains, but lots of windy roads. It almost feels like I'm on a sort of testing ground as a reporter for cars or motorcycles, because this road is just like so pretty. In any case, when it comes to the riding the P6, of course you can feel the 51 kilograms, like it's heavy, but some way, like I'm riding 46 now up the mountain, 50 kilometers an hour, and the software just helps you to make this wheel lighter, if that makes sense. So like the initial sort of sprint, like the responsiveness of it is maybe not that big, but once you lean into it, it just goes, and it's so easy to keep on going. It just accelerates so much. Now, because this wheel is also slightly heavier, I would suggest to you to put the pedal sensitivity slightly lower. I have it at 27% right now. I have it in comfort mode. I might try it in sport mode here as well, just so when you lean, the wheel leans with you, so the weight of the wheel helps you accelerate. So yeah, then it's a bit easier to go with this wheel. And with all of the headroom and overhead that this wheel has, I feel like I don't feel as secure when it comes to like acceleration and on top speed on any other wheel as I do on this one. It's just a different league of its own, really. The suspension is extremely smooth. It has the actual 90 millimeters of travel. I know guys, it feels like a motorcycle. Doesn't really feel like a wheel to me. Now when it comes to braking, like I'm going uphill now, so it should be fairly easy to brake. Let me do that real quick. Oh no. I mean, it does stop on a dime. It has plenty of torque. It just, you need to put in the power to properly brake with this wheel. But let's do that once again real quick. And braking. Ooh. Oh yeah. But definitely accelerating is the bigger sort of fun part of this wheel. Now, since the time of recording this video, which was a couple months ago, a new software for the P6 came out, which should mitigate those issues with braking. Because when I was still riding the P6, it would lean forward when accelerating, but wouldn't lean back all that much when braking. And supposedly now this issue has been solved. With all that said, even with the software being maybe not on the optimal level as I would like it to be, on the street it was just amazing. Like an experience like you don't get really with anything else, because you feel just so secure and with so much headroom. And on those wide streets, well, the InMotion P6 just shines so much. Now, when it comes to cornering, already on a racetrack, when I was doing the turns on a drift racetrack, this wheel felt extremely planted, and I could really push into the corners to turn well. And here there is no difference. Like, it is just so nice to carve on this wheel, and definitely it's designed to like have the sporty ride in the corners, and those winding roads are definitely perfect for it. I just need to keep in mind not to lose my buddies here from InMotion, so I know how to get home. But yeah, this wheel is just extremely, like, there's so much overhead in it. Like, whatever weight you are, how much you lean, doesn't really matter. The P6 can handle it. It's not like a, you know, like a Leaperkin wheel or even a Begode wheel where you just like, you're at 70% of the power or like at 80% of the power, and you can't like cut it out or like dip it. With this one, really, you feel like you're not even touching like half power. And for me, it was so crazy to talk with Albert, who is of course also in the like process or the project of developing the P6, Albert Kwa. Yeah, he was showing me the numbers. Like, I don't even come close to what this wheel is capable of. With this wheel, you're more like, oh, I can do whatever, I can push it, I can go fast, I can, you know, make the turns. It just does what you want to do. However, you do need to keep in mind that sometimes the braking distance might be a bit higher because you need to push more into it, and you really don't feel the speed on it. I'm constantly going like 50 kilometers an hour here. Maybe it's not that visible on the camera, I hope it is, but I'm going very fast here.
Now, having this much fun on this empty road, which is also not a car road in the mountains, it's perfectly fine and fun to go so fast. But when going in the city, well, this is not a motorcycle. It doesn't have a license plate. It doesn't brake, possibly, as fast as a motorcycle. So it's really easy to get caught up in the power and lose yourself. So in this case, actually, I would tell you to not lose yourself, because maybe the machine can handle the speed, but suddenly becoming stationary as a human or going fast and not being able to respond quick enough to some sort of situation is hyper dangerous, and we don't want to create any accidents.
So yeah, performance on this wheel, mental, absolutely mental, but I also need to show you what else this wheel can do. Oh boy, I think I need to go back to see the guys a little bit, make sure that they're there, but man, it's pretty here. I think I'm on the peak of a mountain. Look at that, so pretty.
Now, before we take it to the video where I was riding on the bike path in the mountains, I quickly want to interrupt on how the InMotion P6 just performs on a regular bog standard bike path just riding around the city. And first of all, the suspension. The suspension is just so smooth, and it does work extremely well. To this extent that sometimes I feel like, you know, the way how soft it is, well, it depends on the setup, of course. I would need to test it for a longer time in order to dial it in. But it almost seems like it detracts a little bit from the precision of riding this wheel. This wheel has the pedals pretty high up, at least in the setup that I was having it in here. And, you know, it was sometimes a little bit fiddly. It feels like it requires more space than a Sherman L or other long-range electric unicycles. So I could do plenty of fun stuff on it. The torque is absolutely there, but maybe it's the narrow tire, maybe it's the suspension setup, maybe it's the fact that the batteries are pretty far from the center of the wheel, but I just wasn't feeling as precise on this wheel as I do on other ones. With that said, in the city this wheel feels heavy. It is 50 kilograms, it is a heavy beast, and for long range riding, well, optimally you want to go fast. But in the city, I feel like on a bike path, especially on a narrow one, going slower speed, this wheel just feels very restrained and out of its comfort zone. So yeah, there's upsides and downsides to a racing wheel.
Alright, so now we transitioned to a bit of a more narrow bike path where the road is a lot narrower, and I can feel like the heft of the wheel and, you know, the size of it. The software is definitely tweaked more towards an open road, because here, especially when going a bit slower and with tighter spaces, I feel like with this wheel it might be a bit, I would say maybe less fun or less playful at those lower speeds. It really shines the most once you can open it up and go over like 40-50 kilometers an hour, which is insane to say about the wheel. I was just mostly going downhill, and there is definitely a bit more tough to brake with the wheel. I have the pedals set to 0, but still when I turn with this wheel the pedals go down, and there's yet no settings as we have on, for example, Bigode or now even Librakim, to let the pedals not dip in the turns. It's like pedal compensation. So on the open road when I was going up here, it was so much fun, and the wheel was, you know, so at home. But in this sort of more winding, narrow bike path, like I can feel like I can't react as fast as I could on a sort of even 40 kilogram wheel. This is 50 kilo. So yeah, definitely requires a bit more precision, a bit more concentration in those narrower bike paths when the speeds are lower. But once you try harder and go faster, it starts to be fun again, or like more fun, I guess. You just need to lean a lot, and then this wheel is just like opening up. All right, so now for going downhill, I am leaning the wheel back a little bit, 2 degrees. I put this pedal sensitivity all the way down to 18. It's not like in Kingsong or Librakim where the wheel tilts about a lot. It doesn't really do that. It just tilts like slowly with the rider. And I feel like this helps to make it feel more playful and brake better.
Now I also played around with this setting a bit, and at 0% sensitivity you can just like lean it instantly with the smallest amount of movement, and it could like make it oscillate. Like, it's just for fun, but I thought it was just funny to like have it just lean around so much.
But yeah, still I think I would prefer to be, especially coming to a stop here on a lighter wheel. And definitely the pedal dipping in a turn doesn't help. But on a big wide open road, this thing is a dream. Here, with tighter corners, less space, and more, you know, sudden braking, more sudden acceleration, it really feels a little bit on a big and heavy side. During the testing, there was some issue with my wheel though. Maybe it's just a software issue, but it was beeping, and you can see here there's a warning sign. So still rideable, but just saying. And later this issue disappeared. Oh, electronics.
So for now, this is all I have on the InMotion P6. Now remember, this thing costs $5,000, and there's a lot more to it than just ride impressions. So if I get my hands on one, and maybe I will, be sure to wait for my full review of this wheel. But if you're still here, leave a like on the video, subscribe to see more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. See you soon.